Yes, please. Maybe you can do one thing. You can just introduce your name. Maybe just tell your service briefly.
Sure.
And then
I am Vishal. Yeah, I do try to do service in temples sometimes, service over here in the congregation.
okay.
So the real reason for me, what I feel is I get into that mood, of like deeper to Krishna, and among all things, I think when you do service, we do a lot of association with the devotees, right? So that inspired a lot. Kind of that thing that you would.
Okay. So service is two reasons. You're saying that it is you feel closer to Krishna and you get the association of devotees. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Hare Krishna. My name is Rashmi. I'm involved with this congregation from 2 years. So I started serving in Solo Temple, and sometimes I try to do here and there services. So for me, I joined because I wanted to read Bhagavad Gita. So that was like the philosophical thing. And since I started liking the lectures, so I got more involved. I started then serving because with the association, it's more like a practical application of what I'm studying, and that keeps me more in the spirit.
Okay. So you like the philosophy, and in one sense, the service was a practical application of the philosophy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Abdi Garangi. I like serving Krishna because initially I started serving because I like Srila Prabhupada, preaching all that. I like Srila Prabhupada. That's how initially I started. But once I started, I saw that personally many people were helped by that in many ways, emotionally. Especially emotionally, many people who are even working good jobs. So that has given me more inspiration to continue in the services. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Okay. So it was the fact that Srila Prabhupada was doing such tireless service, that was your initial inspiration. Just wanted to assist him in some way. And you said people were emotionally benefited. Are you talking about by the philosophy, or just by connecting with devotees, or just by practicing bhakti?
Everything as a whole, because in tough times, Bhagavad Gita has given an alternative way to deal with the problems. And I have seen in many different cases, even in my case. So that has kept me inspired.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
My name is that's not good business. I love serving. That's because the more I serve, I feel like I get more purification, and I get closer to Krishna as well. And reciprocation from Krishna. The more I serve genuinely, I feel there is a reciprocation from Krishna, and I can see the more I serve, I can see that there is a progress in myself in terms of consciousness from my hands.
Okay, that's nice. So you feel purification, you feel reciprocation, and you feel progress, positive change. What do you mean by reciprocation in this context?
Reciprocation in the sense, in many aspects, especially when we sacrifice some of our personal things and then engage in Krishna service, somehow Krishna manages that as well. When you do some personal sacrifice in our personal life and engage in Krishna service, he actually looks over that particular aspect of our personal life as well.
Oh, okay. So reciprocation is something like Yogakshemam Vahamyam. Krishna says that I'll protect. Okay, I'll provide. Okay. That's good.
Prabhu, Mataji feeling difficult, it's not very loud sound.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It's not working.
No.
Okay, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. My name is Shruti. I like to do all types of services, the ones which interest me, the ones which doesn't interest me, which are out of my comfort zone as well, because it feels the right thing to do. It helps me grow and progress in Krishna consciousness, feel more closer to Krishna, and I get to learn a lot of things from the association, from the devotees. So it definitely helps my own journey.
All kinds of services. That's very broad. It helps you on your journey towards Krishna. Thank you. Yes, please. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, my name is Ujjwala Lakshmi Devidasi. I like to do service because I'm getting service. I feel satisfaction by doing service, which I want to serve. I mean, I'm from just a background Gujarati family. We used to believe Manav Seva, but then I come to know about Madhav Seva. It's really giving me more inner satisfaction.
Yes. Yes, it's sometimes we say bhakti means to. It's louder, but is it clearer?
It's clear.
Clearer. It's a little like oh. Okay. So sometimes the bhakti means you have to go from selfishness to selflessness. It's true. Another way of looking at it is bhakti means to go from ignorant selfishness to enlightened selfishness. So that means bhakti is a way where we get satisfaction while also giving satisfaction to others. Yes. Okay. Any other one or two more answers? Yes, please.
My name is Chaitnya Charan, and I got associated from college during my college time. So mainly we used to go for prashadam. As in college, we used to be fed up out of mess food. So what attracted us was the prashadam, but and there only like from my Shiksha Guru and all I learned that we engage in all kinds of services. No service is better than the other. So I also I do not have any favorite service. I like doing any service which is given to me, and I feel recharged after the service. Like we say that association is important because you get recharged after like every week when you do. So I feel that when I do seva, I get recharged because there also we get association.
That's nice. Service recharges. That's good. For some people, service recharges. It's true. Sometimes service becomes too much, you may feel discharged. But in general, there can be a rejuvenating break from our life where we are just thinking about ourselves. We are able to do something for something bigger than ourselves. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah.
My name is and I feel like sometimes you have questions like them, in your mind going, and like Pakistan, the Saraswati told one person, like he had a question, and Professor go and wash the dishes, and then come back to me. So like that, many times we have question, and it's like, why this, like this, and anomaly. And then you can, that's the answer. You get the answer inside. So the more devotion service we do, the more inspiration, like Prabhu was saying, from Krishna, and our queries get answered.
Beautiful. There's some questions that are answered through intellectual analysis, and then that from analysis is required. But there are also some questions that get answered through just the inner change of heart of purification that comes simply from service. So doubts can remove both ways. There's an intellectual pathway to answering questions, and there's also non-intellectual, more experiential or spiritual pathway to deal with questions. Thank you. There's a pastime of, I think, Prasad Thakur with Madan Mohan Malviya, so a prominent Indian leader. And so it's a Thakur topic about that. Okay.
Hare Krishna. My name is Ranjan Nimandas, and what I feel in serving Krishna, like when you talk about Krishna and you teach Krishna consciousness to newcomer, and I feel in terms of I will be more cautious to following the path of devotional service, and others will grow also and will learn. And when serving the Krishna with the devotees, engage our senses in the service of the Lordship, that also purifies. And we get satisfaction as you are discussing, and even I personally feel when get engages whole day sometime in service and intellectually or physically, we feel that time goes very fast and we feel deep satisfaction that I have spent my time this day in very proper way and in service of Krishna. That's
Yes. Yes. So we feel fulfilled and we also feel that we are making a contribution, doing something tangible. Okay. So thank you all for sharing your personal inspiration. So now I will change the question, and you may have some hesitation to answer the question. That is, what makes you not want to serve Krishna? You know, sometimes we don't feel like serving Krishna. Sometimes we feel discouraged, sometimes we feel hesitant, sometimes we feel averse. So what are the things that make you feel like I don't want to serve Krishna? Or I don't want I don't want to do service. Are there any situations or times like that? Yes, true.
In overall, I would say my prabhu. Sometimes being lazy is the important fact. In grace also, they have the responsibility, right? Well, if I go for service, sometimes my daughter is not ready, they will complain. They're spending 2 times over there, they're going for Mangalati, stay in front. So there's a bit of challenge in grace that.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, Maya is too broad a word. It is sometimes what happens is certain things we give certain labels. And that kind of labeling is not very helpful in practically dealing. So you talk about we have other responsibilities. And it's not that we don't want to serve Krishna, but that we feel that I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the time to serve Krishna. So one obstacle could be other responsibilities. Any other things?
My mind is very expert to give justification to myself. That yesterday you done a lot, so today you can relax. Not like, okay, you can do today. No, yesterday done a lot, so today I can do and you can do. So very expert. I am very expert mind.
So you can say that our mind comes up with reasons for not serving Krishna. Right? Like Krishna says, the Upanishad says that with respect to material things, we all have our quota. So often in material life, we want much more than our quota. But in spiritual life, now I done my quota, no more. It becomes like that. Thank you. Anything else? Yeah.
So when I don't have the skills, what the service requires, that's the reason.
Yeah, that is a big challenge. Sometimes the situation we are in requires us to do some services, but then we don't have the skills for those services. So overall, actually, I would like to. I could write the second part down. Let me see. So I don't have the pen to do it, so that is still I'm using. So, just sure you will find it there. No, this is not. The skills was one thing, another was other responsibilities. Then we could just say excuses.
So this work without.
It's a normal pen, no?
Yeah, but without.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it would work.
Should be started.
Yeah, actually, I have it started listening. Can you please tell me? Yes, so excuses. We can try to look at some of these afterwards. Anything else?
Comfort zone.
Yeah.
Comfort zone.
Okay, so you feel that you don't want to go out of our comfort zone.
Like if it is very far, oh, I cannot go that far.
Okay, so outside comfort zone. Okay. Yes.
So because I see Krishna in deities, in temple, in association, but maybe not when I'm doing my own daily chores. So those are the times I'm not serving Krishna, I'm just serving myself or my family or my friends or, I'm working because maybe my life is not that Krishna centered yet. So I'm not that role in Krishna.
Yes, you could say inability to see Krishna. Of course, you can say they're not able to see Krishna anywhere at one level, but at least we feel some presence of Krishna. So, for example, some people may feel that they are doing some service when they are doing some puja. For example, there was book distribution. If you do really service to Krishna and meeting same people, and they even read a book, We all feel Krishna's presence more in some services and not so much in some services. So some devotees, many of us in the new days, early days, it will go and do Harinam on the streets. Really? So we may hesitate to do that. Oh, what will people think of me if I'm singing and dancing on the streets? So we may not feel the presence of Krishna. We may have some other reservations that may also cause us some hesitation in serving. Yes. Anything else?
I'm just recollecting my own past experience, like I've been wondering over the reasons why sometimes I didn't do the service. It could be sometimes I had a bad experience during the service in that particular environment with a particular devotee or someone. Then if that service comes again in the same situation, I have to withdraw, take a step back. That's when I feel my mind doesn't engage in that service.
Now we are really talking. So, yeah.
Other aspect.
I think I told you last time, I don't know, that I was in Texas. Texas in America is a part of the Bible Belt. A lot of evangelical hardline Christians are there. So I saw one bumper sticker on a car ahead of me. It says, "Oh God, please save me from your preachers." So sometimes the preachers are very holier than thou, very condescending, very hell and brimstone kind of message. Don't obey me, going to go to hell. So it may not be that much for us, but yeah, sometimes some devotees just can't get along with them. And we have some better experiences because of maybe their behavior, tendencies, or their quirks, or their condition, or it could be our condition, whatever it is. So bad experiences while serving. Anything else?
When you enjoy just certain aspects of services, not the entire range. So like I don't like, I can't be a part of Sankirtan, but I can be a part of cooking.
Okay, so something with no skill or you think
Dislike,
Not disliking, it's
or interest in your interest. Preference.
preference, okay. So we could also say that it's somewhat related to the point of inability to see Krishna. But in some senses we can see Krishna quickly, sometimes we can't. But you could also preference, that's perfectly fine. So again, it's not that we are unwilling to serve Krishna, but we are unwilling to serve Krishna in particular ways. I was invited to a temple in one country, and then before that, the leaders told me that, can you please speak on the importance of doing meal service? So everybody likes to want to do classes or do puja on the altar or lead kirtan, but people are not ready to clean the temple or what the utensils. So I gave a class, and after that, one devotee came to me and said, just before you another teacher had come, and just before you another teacher had come, that same week only, there's a place where a lot of people were sitting. How come all three of you spoke on the same topic? Sometimes what may happen is that a particular service is needed, but the philosophy is used to emphasize a particular service. Then people start getting put off. Yeah, it's not necessary that everybody wants to do services that involve the limelight. But is that some people will be more inclined to some things. And there are other people who are inclined to certain services. We can't really force everything. We have to do this, we have to do this. But that needs to be adjusted. Okay. One or two last, yes, please.
The family situation, family needs and the work needs us. So there are many situations where we kind of give excuses for us. Okay, maybe this time let me serve this, let me do this, and then play to maybe do the Krishna service.
Yeah, so now this is sometimes it's the oscillating between the actual reason and there may be a given reason. Sometimes it's really you're not able to do service. Sometimes it's like we use something as an excuse to not do it. And sometimes it's very difficult to know what it is. Could I actually manage to do this service while taking care of my family responsibility or my job? Or maybe it's too difficult, I could not really manage. So this is a challenge that when is it an actual limitation And when is it, you could say, a mentally created invitation. So yeah, that's so we could put this as limitations itself. We all have limitations, and we also have limitations in knowing what are limitations. Okay. So yeah, please.
One more reason I feel was when I wanted to do a service in one way, according to my own understanding and my own experience, but I was instructed to do it some other way, which is not against my way of doing or my nature, whatever it is. But I was instructed to do some other way, which I was not convinced. And then, like, I sometimes end up like not putting my heart there, like, to do it. So I do it, but like, my heart is not there to do. And if some problem is coming up in that situation, I may not think in different angles to handle that. In other words, like, if I had done in my own way, which I thought, like, it may work, may not work, but like, it may work, like, my own conception, I would have thought, like, different angles. Okay, let me put in all the angles, let me think in all the angles.
Yes, that's true. Sometimes we could say there's lack or absence of conviction. Conviction, not about the principle of serving Krishna, but serving in a particular way. And then we are half-hearted. And if we are half-hearted, then any obstacle that becomes it's not possible. But if it's our own, we are convinced, then even if obstacles come, we'll power through the obstacles. We'll find some way to go beyond the obstacles. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
Just want to add, Prabhu, what I've seen in relation that, family member, husband and wife, right? Prabhuji is more active, Mataji is not. Right? Everybody.
Or the other way.
Or the other way, right? So that makes a challenge, right? For both sides, I've heard, right? They're not able to make it, or, the doctor doesn't like it, wife doesn't like it. So, and they can't, they've been trying for time, they can't get them onto the promotion, then it becomes challenging. Then they forget sometimes as well, okay, I'm not giving time.
Not giving time to?
The husband wants to stay. I want to go party, I want to go with you, where are you going?
Okay.
I'm going to
Okay. So, so you could say other responsibilities, you could say also. Sometimes we could say relationships, broadly speaking. In our relationships, we may have some challenges. Yes, true.
Sometimes
You know,
I feel like whenever
it seems that the list of
whenever chanting and hearing is not going properly, like the way expectation is like I should chant any early morning, and the routine is keep on going delay, and that goes for a week. That's how like we have service we wanted to, but we don't do wholeheartedly. And so that's one thing. And second, like whenever like you have professional life as well, and you have something quota to do, and it's keep on going, and you are not fulfilling that which you used to do. That's how not able to make balance. So that's the second aspect, like which I don't feel to do the way I should do with wholeheartedly.
yeah, true. So two distinct points here. One of them is say that if our sadhana goes down, then if you don't hear and chant, then our seva also sometimes goes down. So yeah.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu. So one more reason I was thinking was like when the health is affected in any way, that will also cut down the service.
That's natural, yeah. Our health goes down. And you also said about imbalance. Various aspects of our life are not balanced. So I don't want to end with any more reasons for that. So let's see if we can address some of these. Mr. Prabhupada, in his one of his letters in the 1970s, he says that till now we have been operating in an emergency mode. Emergency mode, but now we have to come out of that emergency mode and standardize our services and our movement. So I'm paraphrasing what Prabhupada said, but essentially it talks about emergency mode and standardization. So I talked with many devotees, Prabhupada disciples about this. So what does emergency mode mean? Initially, when the movement was just starting, at that time, who few devotees were there, and whatever service was required, everybody would do that. Now, if you have to clean the temple, you clean the temple. If you have to cook, you cook. So, and that is the sign of the devotee's sign. Whatever is required, we do it. However, we all have a particular nature. And there are some services which we can easily do, which we can not only easily do ourselves, but see, there is ease and there is effectiveness. We can also do them more effectively because that's what is our nature. Now, Krishna talks about these two words, guna and karma. So when we have the guna for doing something, it's quite easy for us to do it. If somebody has the guna for music, they just take up an instrument and they just start playing a flute and they get it. Somebody doesn't have the guna, they keep playing the instrument, and the worst is where they don't even have the guna to understand that they're playing it wrong. So in Kirtan, they are blissful playing kartal, everybody around them is blissful. What are you doing? So the guna is it's easy for us to do it. And the karma means we are also competent. We are effective. We can do it. So some devotees, for example, they like to be with people. And some devotees, for programs, they become MCs or they become hosts. They are cheerful, they draw people together, they create a warm atmosphere. That same devotee, if you tell them to do a service of say, maybe 40 vessels or something like that, they can do it, but it's unreasonable. Them. It's also, they also will not get any satisfaction. So the point that Prabhupada was making was that in the emergency mode, everybody should be ready for whatever service is required. But as our movement grows, as it stabilizes, then the standard way of serving is that we all find our interests. We all find our talents. We all find the ways in which we can connect with Krishna. And we serve a God. Now that may take some time for us to find, and that's why it is important first that there is service and there is service attitude. So among these two, which do you think is more important? Yes. Now, service attitude is more important. So that's why initially, whatever service we are told to do, we are ready to do that. Or whatever service is required to be done, we do that. But over a period of time, the Prabhupada himself, you see, in the early days, when Prabhupada was publishing Back to God magazine in India, Prabhupada himself buy the paper, carry the paper to the printer, do the proofreading, do the typing, and himself go and distribute books. Still back to that. But eventually, what Prabhupada did? Prabhupada outsourced them to other people. And he focused on the writing, speaking, counseling, meeting people. And other things also had to be done. But Prabhupada focused on what he could, something which he alone could do. And that's what he focused on. So in general, we could put it this way that if there is an authority and there is a subordinate. Now, in general, all of you in some ways are authority, you are looking after some departments. The subordinate should be trained or the one should be whatever service and gain. But the authority should be, what is the interest of this? What is the talent of this? Or what is this devotee doing? Let us engage that devotee in that. So by that, the devotee will be able to do that service easily and this way, both the authority, the subordinate is concerned, I want to assist. They are doing services, they are doing responsible, I want to assist. And the authority doesn't think, I am a boss and I have an instructor.
I'm also a servant of these devotees. And servant of these devotees, I try to see. I try to learn, not just see the devotee as a means to get all my jobs done. I to stand, I see the devotee also the part of Krishna. And I try to see that how can this devotee serve best? As I said, what are their interests? What is their situation? What are their talents? So we could say subordinate, they have this service attitude. And their service attitude is seen through surrender. Whatever you tell me, I do it. But for their service attitude is seen in concern for the devotee. Wanting to know what will this devotee improve life in, happy, effective, like that. So that is what creates a really warm feeling. Now, with respect to this point, that as we start growing in our spiritual life, then we start understanding ourselves also better. There are 3 modes of material nature. And so, what are the 3 modes called in Sanskrit? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Now, Sattva is associated with one thing. It is associated with one particular characteristic. What is that? Remember? Yeah, goodness is the English translation of that word. Happiness, that's true. Peace. One more thing. Sattvat Sanjayate. Do you know the words? Sattva is 2 defining characteristics. Happiness and another is they're the same thing already. Somewhere close to that. It's knowledge. Sattvat Sanjayate Jnanam. Krishna says Prakash, illumination of clarity. So Sukha Sangena Vadnati Jnana Sangena Chana. So in Sattva there is bond, there is happiness, there is a state of contentment. But along with that, there is knowledge of clarity. That means in Sattva we can see things clearly. If we are in Rajoguna, Tamoguna, if you consider with respect to services. So, what will be our attitude towards service? If service is here, if I am in Sattva, I am in Rajas, and I am in Tamas. And if we are in Tamas, and then we ask ourselves, which is the service according to my nature? The mind will have one answer here. The service that I am doing right now is not according to my nature. You understand that? That means any service except the service I am doing right now. Mind Tamas is always resentful, complaining. Even if you go to paradise, the mind is, yeah, this is good, but after birth then they're wrong. So in Tamoguna, what happens is it's characterized by lethargy. So then, as some of you said, about excuses. So I want to serve according to my nature. It is service according to my nature. The service I am doing is not according to my nature. So I won't do that. When we are Rajoguna, so Tamoguna, we can say it's associated with excuses. Excuses for not doing service. When Rajoguna is associated with what? Primarily passion. But what is it associated with? Pleasure. So pleasure, power, speech. So here in Rajoguna, we will want to do the service which has glamour. A service which everybody will praise. So if in a particular community, book distribution is considered most important. And those who distribute books, their names are mentioned, they're glorified. Then everyone says, I will do book distribution, I'll do book distribution. Now, it's good to distribute books. But some days they're not doing it because they like to distribute books, but just because they want to be free, they want to be released. Sometimes that's glamour. But so here in Sattva, when we consider service, that is the time when we actually consider there was clarity. This is where actually we are able to consider our nature clearly. Otherwise, before we come to Sattva Guna, it's very difficult to understand what our nature is. Yes, yes, I'm driven largely by a feeling. I like this, I don't like this. And the thing about nature is that even the things we like to do, it is not that we will like them constantly. So the mind is fickle. One of my services is writing. I feel most absorbed when I'm writing. But that does not mean that every time I sit down, I love writing. There are times when I just sit down to write and no ideas are coming, no words are coming. It's very frustrating. One author who said, writing is extremely. It's just sit in front of a computer and glare at its screen till drops of blood form on your forehead. So similarly, we may like to do cooking, but there are times when cooking will not like. It's too much. Was I born to cook? I want to do some other things in life also. So our mind is fickle. Or was I born only to cook? I want to do this. So, so what happens is, in Rajoguna and Tamoguna, we can't even get a very clear understanding of what happens. And same way with respect to others. If we are in Rajoguna and in Tamoguna, we can't really understand people properly. We just see people as tools. I got this project to do, and then you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. It's not bad engaging others in Krishna service, but we want to see others. There are two visions of others. Say others as aids in service. I'm using aid as a polite word. Sometimes you may even see them as tools in service. That means that I have to get this service done, I have to distribute this many books, or I have to do this particular thing. So you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. We see others as tools for our service, or an aid in our service. One way of looking at it. But another way that they are the objects of service. That means it is not that I am doing some service through them, rather taking care of them also the service. Making sure that devotees are well situated, their life is balanced, they are happy, and if there are any troubles they are having, dealing with those troubles. Devotees are also objects of service. And this vision is important to have. Now nowadays in our movement, we are having more and more concern about devotee care. That we need to take care of the devotees. So there's one of my friends, he said that when people come new, we feed them fried pakoras. And when they become devotees, we fry them like pakoras. So certainly we want everybody to be well engaged. But sometimes it gets not well engaged. So devotees are not just tools for us to do services. And they respect also to spending time with them, understanding where they are in their life, talking with them. This is also service. So if you see the Prabhupada, there is one book which he commented on very early in his translations, which he called as the guidebook for devotees. Which is that book? Nectar of Devotion and Nectar of Instruction. So Nectar of Devotion is, we could say, a little bit more for connecting with Krishna. Nectar of Instruction is much more, you can say, for functioning in the world. And there, in the Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada talks about these 6 loving exchanges. What are the 6 loving exchanges? You know? Dadati Pratigrahanati. Any the translations that everybody knows? Dadati Pratigrahanati. Giving gifts, receiving gifts. Then
Inquiring confidentially by revealing.
Okay, so you could say, you could put that as a heart.
Yeah.
You know, sharing our heart with others and hearing others share them. And last is, that is Krishna. So among these, which do we do the most? It's not only one, it's like, is a winner without competition. So, and which we do a little bit.
Second.
Second, do we? Yeah, we sometimes give gifts to others. We go to Vrindavan and you guys get something, or somebody's birthday is there, we give gifts. But actually, this doesn't really happen. Sharing our heart. And that's why if we are not sharing our hearts, we all, one of the challenges in sharing our hearts is, first of all, we think this is a waste of time. Like, okay, if I sit together, and then we get here some class together. And that's important because we want to hear it together. But we all have some realizations, we all have some challenges. If sitting down, we feel confident, they will not engage. I think it's open my heart. And this is not very easy to do. So I come back to this point, but what Prabhupada says is that he says in the public account purport that the Krishna consciousness movement is nourished by these sixfold abilities. It's a very precise and powerful word. It says our movement is nourished. Normally we think that our devotional life is nourished by hearing and chanting. Like let us say that just like we need food for the body, so we need hearing and chanting for the soul. It is equal to Bhakti Lata to be like a creeper. So this is the water that nourishes the creeper. That's hearing and chanting. That's important. So for an individual devotee, hearing and chanting is very important. Prabhupada is talking about the movement. The movement is not just individual devotees practicing. It is individual devotees coming together in practice. And for that purpose, these sixfold loving exchanges are extremely important. That is how we come closer to them. And one of the purposes of this form, if Prabhupada says this, that to come to help people come closer to each other and closer to the prime entity Krishna. Closer to Krishna and closer to each other. So we all, by our practicing, we are coming closer to Krishna. But are we actually coming closer to each other? We meet each other, we spend time with each other, that's good. But now sometimes there are some like practical troubles. Some devotee is sick, some devotee has had an accident, or somebody has a family emergency like that. That time all the devotees can feel that it is necessary. That's a sign of our community. That's it. But beyond that, if some devotee has some emotions, if some devotee has some struggles and they fall in some standards, can the devotee feel that I can talk with someone else without feeling judged, without being content? You know something like this. That devotee, that's the only answer I want to get it. And always speak about. And that, everybody has this struggle. So there's a standard which we all want to follow, but we all struggle with this. And there could be many things. You want to wake up in the morning and sometimes you're able to, sometimes not able to wake up. You want to complete our rounds at a particular time, but they're not able to. Try to. You want to study Prabhupada's books every day or regularly, but you're not able to. You want to maybe do some Chaturmasya fast, Chaturmasya, got to follow, or some fasting and such. We try to, we're not able to do. We have some, we want to control our senses, sometimes we're able to, so we're not able to. So many things. There are the inner struggles in the devotee's life. Can we talk about that? So this is Buddhism after language. If we can find an environment, even environment, this is not something you have to talk with everyone. That's not required. It's not appropriate also, it's not required. But that's something. Like some of you mentioning that when we are not able to do a service, is it that our mind is giving an excuse? Or is it that actually we are not able to do this? So, for example, if our family is also practicing bhakti, we will not that serious. Our family tells us, don't go to the temple, spend some time. We say, should I go to the temple? Now, at that time, we can try to analyze. But if we have a close friend, a devotee who we can talk with, a devotee who is like-minded, who understands. And then what happens is it's easier to think when we can articulate our words and have our thoughts reflected back. Thinking inside our head is quite difficult. So, okay, this point, this point. Okay. Is this right? Is this right? But we talk with others, it helps us to understand ourselves better. It's not just that other person has to be advanced. The Gudhyamakhya, the Gudhyashakti is not about attaining the class. It is not even about one person simply giving instruction. It is more like an art of discussion. So, if one devotes, how do you balance your life? You will balance it. Now, one of the most frustrating things for a devotee is when you ask a practical question and you get a philosophical answer. What does that mean? How do I know whether I'm being sincere or not? That's what I'm trying to understand. So if some other devotee also gone through something like that, they will say that, okay, at this time, this was, I went to this time and I also had this issues. And I think I didn't do too much of that. But now, my family is stable, my family is stable, and now I'm doing this. Okay, so it's not just because we are not doing some service at a particular time. That doesn't mean that we are insincere, that we are happy. Now, it could also be the other way. Sometimes we may be using our family as an excuse for not serving. I remember one devotee told me that one time he felt that he was not spending enough time with his children. And he spent time inquiring about them and then maybe playing with them, talking with them. And one day his son told him, Papa, nobody is not going to the temple. So, and he's not asking, not just inquiring. Sometimes the children may feel that, like there is this helicopter parenting. You heard this word? Helicopter parenting is helicopter is constantly hovering about a person's head. So, like that, the parents always watching him. Give me some space. So, sometimes we may think that our family needs to spend more time with them, but maybe our family needs some space. So, life is complex. There is no one formula by which we can organize our life. That's why if we can have honesty, we can have candid discussions with devotees. It's not that we are immediately judged and labeled, whether it's sincere or fallen person. We're all struggling, we all men fall in life. Very nice. We really can find one friend like that can make much of the challenges in practicing bhakti and seva much more manageable. If not that challenges go away, but they become much more manageable. So that's why Rupa Goswami also talks about something. It's not just association, it also talks about like-minded association. Sajatiya Bhagavad Bhakti. That like-minded association. So if we can find even one devotee who is like-minded, then we get a little bit more of a breathing space. We can open ourselves, open our heart and be ourselves in that devotee. So what does like-minded association mean? Broadly, it can mean three things. First is, so here I'm talking about sometimes it's maybe an equal devotee, a senior devotee, with whom we can talk. So first is, we understand their mind. That means different devotees do classes, different devotees answer questions. Some devotees they explain things in a way that we immediately understand. Some devotees they explain something like that. Their answer to a question leaves us with more questions than answers. Or sometimes some devotees answer in such a way that the answer is not meant to give an explanation, the answer is meant to end the discussion. How do we really understand that say something we have very simple, let's say Prabhupada says that the sun is closer to the moon. Prabhupada says this, what is there to understand? Except Prabhupada's authority. If somebody would accept Prabhupada's authority, they wouldn't have that much. Isn't it? Of course, if you see what Prabhupada is saying is very different. In our philosophy, there's a vertical dimension. There is a karmic dimension. Prabhupada is talking about the vertical dimension. It's like say, it's not that simple. Say, generally, whichever part of the world you go, You ask them where is heaven? If they believe in heaven, they'll say it's up. But if you consider, we have UK here, we have Australia here. Now UK, the earth is round. So both people in UK and Australia, the earth is, heaven is up. So where is up? Isn't it? Getting that point? The India and America are opposite sides of the earth. Indians say heaven is up. America say heaven is up. But the two up are in opposite directions. So where is up? So that up is not a geographical up. It is an up of consciousness, up of karma. So heaven exists at a higher level of reality. So Prabhupada is talking about a karmic dimension. So it's not simply geographical or chronological. Then the point is that sometimes some devotees, they explain things in a way you understand. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we understand their mind. The second point is they understand our mind. That means if we speak something, they don't immediately judge us. No, you are a preacher. How can you have such doubts? Are you a preacher or a doubter? Oh, if they start labeling us, then we start off. Then, yeah, you come from scientific background or you come from that kind of background. Understand, you have to achieve things. So they understand us. So then what happens is, even if we don't get an answer to a question, even if you feel that the question is understood, I'm not a bad person who had a question like this. That itself gives us some readings. And then the third part, they help us understand our mind. That means that okay, you're thinking like this is right. But here you're thinking is not so right. You're using logic over here, I use logic like this. But why not use logic over here also? So that way what happens is we don't have to reject our way of thinking to understand. We accept our way of thinking, but we also extend that way of thinking. Okay, suppose somebody meets some devotee, and that devotee is a senior devotee, but that devotee is to get angry and yell at others. Okay, devotees get angry. And then we ask somebody, okay. You can tell me don't think like this, but why is somebody behave in a particular way? That is not a good stuff. So how do you do it? And they may tell us something that, yeah, it's understandable. Different devotees. It's not that every devotee, just because they're senior, they're pure devotees. They're advanced devotees, they're dedicated to Krishna. But everybody may have certain conditions that they're working. So they're dedicated to Krishna, but when things don't work their way, their anger may not be like ordinary. Our anger is because of our selfish desire. Their anger means they have a desire to serve Krishna. That service is not happening, and that's why they get angry. So that does not mean that anger is always a good thing. But it makes sense. So we need an explanation which makes sense to us. If you can find like this, even one devotee of that in our devotee community, then we get a lot of breathing space. So then we will find that many of the challenges that we face in our body, they become more manageable. So this is where we as a devotee communities, all of you are in your own way leaders. So as leaders, you have many services to do. But if you see devotees not just as tools for service, but as objects of service. That object of service means that we try to understand devotees. We give devotees the space that they feel confident that I can be understood. That I will be understood, that I will be heard, and my concerns will be addressed. And that way, once that happens, the devotees get bonded so closely. Even if some doubts come, even if some conditions rise, even if some difficulties come, devotees can stay connected. They can stay firmly rooted in the Krishna consciousness. And in the association of devotees, and specifically the association of like-minded devotees, our own minds are becoming clearer to us. When something is an excuse that we are coming up with, when something is actually a real situation that we need to address. Like sometimes we talk about, I'll make 2-3 points and you can ask a question. So one point was mentioned about comfort zone. Sometimes we don't want to come out of our comfort zone. Well, that is true. In one sense, the word comfort zone has a negative connotation. You just want to relax and you just want to do anything. We don't want to stretch us, we don't want to extend ourselves, we don't want to sacrifice. Well, there's some truth to that. Now, if you consider yoga, yoga is now becoming very big and here now in the school, there's yoga etiquette that we taught. So, we have yoga. Oh, that's nice. Okay, that's why I forgot yoga. Is it? So now yoga involves stretching the body. And stretching actually enhances the fitness of the body, the resilience of the body. But the key principle in yoga is you stretch in a way that is not too uncomfortable. Stretching itself involves a certain level of discomfort. But if it's too uncomfortable, then that might be involved in some power building kind of exercises. People who lift huge weight, they're making them uncomfortable to lift weights. Then throw the weight down. But those are a little bit of heavy intensity kind of exercises. They might be good just because people want to show off their body or become competitive success, but they are not really very good for it. So there is stretching of the body, but stretching of the body in a way that is sustainable, that is not too uncomfortable. So similarly for all of us, we do want to stretch us, and we don't need to stretch us. If somebody were not sincere, then they would not even be in the devotee community. The world has so many opportunities for doing so many things. If somebody stays in the devotee community, somebody is practicing bhakti, that means they have a core level of sincerity. They have a sincerity. They do. Everybody who has even read the Prabhupada's books, heard a few classes, they all know that spiritual growth doesn't happen automatically. We have to sacrifice. We have to make some commitments. But how much? So we stretch ourselves in a way that is not too uncomfortable. A little bit discomfort is okay. That is required, but not too much discomfort. Now, how much is too much discomfort? How much is too little discomfort? That sometimes balance requires not just introspection of itself, look within, but also requires discussion with others. Some devotees may sleep very less, and you may think that, oh, this devotee sleeps so less, such advanced devotee. Well, maybe, but what happens is, ultimately you can't cheat the body. If you don't sleep at the right time, you will sleep at the wrong time. So, if you don't get adequate rest, then we'll sleep in japa, we'll sleep in class, we'll be distracted in our work, because we'll become irritable. So, okay, we need a certain amount of rest. How much is too much? How much is too little? That, sometimes we have to do some self-observation. Sometimes we may have to discuss with some other devotee, not everyone, but some devotee. Each devotee is an individual. And as an individual, what is a balance? That is something which is slowly and carefully discovered. One of my devotee friends, a scholar, he's writing a book on Prabhupada's pre-ISKCON life. Like Prabhupada's life as a grahastha. And it's difficult because most of the people who lived at that time have now departed from the world. He's trying to find as much information available and finds out and try to put it all together. So he told me it was very striking. He said, if Prabhupada as a grahastha had been an ISKCON devotee, most devotees are considered he's not a very serious devotee. Because Prabhupada was not coming every day to the body of mind. Prabhupada was not necessarily doing many other things. Prabhupada met his master sometimes. Prabhupada had his business. But Prabhupada was very serious in his own way. Prabhupada's mission at that time was, he had been told by astrologer that you can become very wealthy. And he thought, I can use my wealth in Christian service. And it's very significant what Prabhupada says over there. Prabhupada says, if I had not been married, I would have joined my Guru Maharaj mission. But he says, now I was married, I have a child. Now if I renounce, it would be unfair to my family. It doesn't say it's wrong. It's irresponsible, it's unfair. So Prabhupada is conscientious about responsibility. Prabhupada is always dedicated. He was thinking of expanding his business, but his purpose was not as I want to become wealthy. Because I want to earn wealth so that I can serve Krishna. Now, Krishna had a different plan for Prabhupada. His business didn't work out so well. But Prabhupada was dedicated in it. So, in that case, we see that sometimes we may be in a particular situation where that situation has a particular need, a particular obligation, we may have particular inspiration. So we need to accommodate each other. We don't want to judge each other and label each other and condemn each other. If that happens, then devotees become very isolated. Then we can't really inspire others. We can go through the motions, but if the inspiration doesn't go through. So balance requires times when we may have to shift a little more towards our professional side, sometimes a little more towards family side, sometimes a little more towards our emotional side. Balance is not like one formula. Balance is dynamic. So it's sometimes shifting this way, sometimes shifting that way. It depends on the situation. So going back over here, let's look at some of the points. Yeah, health is extremely important. So I talk about limitations, I talk about preferences, lack of conviction. And so sometimes as devotees become senior, it depends on seniority in different situations. For somebody who's new, they go to 5-year-old also senior. For somebody who's 10, 15 years old, 2-3-year-old devotee is a new devotee. But as devotees become senior, they become thoughtful. It's not that he can constantly keep giving instructions. It is that there has to be communication. Okay, this is how I think we should do things. But then, this is how, okay, this is what I think we should do. Okay. The one aspect of humility is not just offering obeisance to people. Humility also means listening to people. Humility means that, okay, I have an idea, but maybe somebody else can also have a good idea. We are open to that. When that kind of humility is there, then if you see, then we can be more effective. Narad Muni instructed Dhruva Maharaj. Most of you know that story. Dhruva was he was felt very insulted by his stepmother's voice. And he went to the forest. And then when he went to the forest, what did his mother do? Sorry, what did his why he met Narad Muni? Narad Muni said, oh, it's small children, it's small time. Children just quarrel, they feel offended. And you don't take those things. Like suppose two children, maybe their neighbors, when they quarrel with them, I will never talk to them. And 2 days later, they're playing with each other. We are best friends forever. What? So, children don't take those also. Let's go back. And you think you're not a child. Yes, evolve spiritually. Then spiritually evolved people don't take honor dishonor for things. Okay, go back. When this happens, then Narad Muni says this. What does Dhruva Maharaj say? What you're saying is true, but it doesn't work. What is true in there? So, Narad Muni does not say, who do you think you are? You know, I have instructed Vyasadeva who composed the literature. I have lived on this planet more years than since you are born in this planet. He does not play the seniority card. He does not play the card. Okay. If you can't do this, then I give you something. So it's not just, like I said, authority subordinate. It is authority and subordinate. Sometimes it can be not just instruction, but it can also be negotiation. It can be discussion. That Narad Muni and Dhruva are discussing. And he goes, okay, I can't do this, I can do this. Prabhupada also told us that Prabhupada writes in letter 75 writing to one of his disciples, he said, now that you are a senior person, I cannot give you an instruction. I can only give you some suggestions. This is Prabhupada, this is a guru, and these are his disciples. So sometimes when devotees have experience, they are mentioning, then we need to win them over. Win them over, persuade them, avoid discussion. Today, when devotees feel that their concerns are heard, then this will serve it much more than this. And then 2 more points, questions. So health, there is a letter of Srila Prabhupada where he says that if you don't take care of your health now, in future, even if you are very enthusiastic, you will not be able to serve Krishna. So our body, sometimes we think you are control, you're not your body, you're not your body. And yeah, there is some truth to that. We may not be our body, but we need our body. We need our body for serving Krishna. And again, the same point, we see the body not just as a tool for serving Krishna. The body is a tool for serving Krishna that is given to Krishna, given by Krishna to us. And like suppose for our service, we have to coordinate some festival. Go here, go there. Some senior devotee uses their car. When they have entrusted the car to us, then we want to use the car well. We want to use the car for service. But one service is also taking care of the car. So like the devotee uses a new car, and after 20 days when you give the car, they think, isn't it the same car? What happened? No, I did so much service with the car. Yeah, but what happened? What happened to servicing the car? So similarly, is our body like a vehicle? When you use it for service, but the body also has to be taken care of. So we don't have to see our health as something. Our health is also, can see it as being health conscious, can also be a part of being Krishna conscious. We are not health conscious and we don't make health the ultimate purpose of our life. We understand that no matter how much health we take care of, ultimately the body is perishable. But while the body is there, you want to take care of health. And talk about preferences. Now, with respect to bad experiences with respect to serving. Yeah, that just sometimes happens to everyone because of one philosophical reason and one practical reason. I'll explain both. All of us, we all have heard of this concept of destiny. So destiny is what? It is basically the stockpile of our past unprocessed karma. So we all have some past karma, and if it is processed, that means we have got the reactions for that karma. Unprocessed means we not got the reactions. So some of the destiny is positive, some of it is negative. That means we face some difficulties because of the negative karma, and sometimes we get some opportunity, we get some facilities. We all have some experience that we work very hard, but we don't get the result. That's sometimes a negative destiny. But sometimes we just get lucky breaks in life. There are 100 people who could have got the same job that we got, but we get it. Or like that, we get lucky breaks. So lucky breaks are the positive karma from the past working for us. So destiny works both ways. But if say we have a particular quota of negative karma that we need to process in this life, that negative karma generally comes in 3 ways. You can see the Atma over here. The Atma is surrounded by 3 broad circles. Or the Atma is placed in 3 circles. One is the circle of the body. Then the second is the circle of society. The third is the circle of environment or nature. Now from these 3 circles, the Atma is the soul, can get both positives and negatives. So sometimes some people have a very fit body, and some people have a very sickly body. So somebody has a sickly body, then what happens is they're very careful about their diet. But they're lactose intolerant, and suddenly some food they take and they didn't even know there's milk over there, and their body gets upset, their stomach gets upset. Somebody has some peanut allergy and they're constantly conflict. There's just a peanut or something like that. So sometimes for some people, a small body, some small problem in change in diet is not a big problem. On the other hand, somebody has a very sturdy body. It's like they treat their tongue like a conveyor belt. They're still slim, they're still healthy. So So through this bodily kosha, the bodily circle that we are in, some of us may get more distress, some of us may get more pleasure. That is the way the body works. So similarly through society, some people in our community, in our social circle, they give us some pleasure. Some people give us trouble. I was at one devotee's house. So in the restroom, they had put a coat over there. All our guests make us some by coming and some by leaving. So what happens is that when something like this happens, so we all have some adibhautik klaish. It's a klaish that comes from society. And that is the quota. Some of us may have more, some of us may have. But like they are linked to the environment. Some places the weather is very compatible for us. Some places the weather is very incompatible. Some people, their bodies seem to just adjust to your place. Some people, they go from one time zone to another. They seem to have a jet lag that never ends. But we all have different bodies. So we all have a certain quota of klaish that we are going to get. And if we live primarily with devotees, we may not be living physically with devotees, but if our primary services are with devotees, our primary relationships are with devotees. We may have our jobs, we may have our careers, we may have our extended family, but we don't spend too much time with them. We're not too emotionally invested with them. Then what they do doesn't affect us too much. But what the devotees around us do, that affects us quite. So what happens in the situation is, if we have by our destiny, if we have a certain quota of adibhautik klaish to get, adibhautik klaish is the klaish that comes from society around us, from people around us. So our quota of adibhautik klaish, if it has to come to us, it has to come through the people around us. And if the people around us are primarily devotees, then the adibhautik klaish will come through devotees. So it is not that devotees are bad people. It is not that it is because of devotees I'm getting bad experiences. It is like if I had not been working with devotees, I would have been working with someone else. And through that person, I would have gotten that. So that way, through philosophical perspective, we don't take these negative experiences too seriously. Yes, everybody has conditions, and I have a quota of something that I'm meant to get. It doesn't mean that we let somebody be abused or exploited. If somebody just can't get along, we can keep a distance. We don't have to be offensive to that devotee. We don't have to badmouth that devotee. We can just keep a distance. I was in one temple and then I went to another temple. It was in America. So I know that the two temple presidents are friends. So I said, bro, I do this discussion with various devotees. So can both of you join together? He said, yes, I can join next year. Okay. If you're so busy till next year, he says, no. He says, that devotee and I, we are excellent friends. As long as we meet once a year. Now, what he meant by that is that sometimes we say, as devotees, we have to cooperate. Prabhupada says, your love for me will show me how to cooperate. But sometimes the only way we can cooperate is cooperate. Now that's not bad. It's still both are serving Krishna. And I think both are not bad among each other. If two devotees who just can't get along with each other are forced together, their natures just don't work together. And both of them will be constantly finding fault with each other and telling fault to everyone else. And it's just polluting the environment. But it's just okay, you know, give everybody space. And our moment is big enough that we can have different devotees in different services. So if there are bad experiences with some devotees, rather than blaming the devotee or rather than blaming the devotee community, just understand this is some karma from my past life is coming to me. And I don't have to overreact to that. Just do what is required to protect ourselves and move on in our life. So this is where a philosophical vision can actually help us deal with our situations a little more effectively. And one last point I'll mention over here. Yes. Yeah, now inability to, sorry. There's no skills and inability to see Krishna. Sometimes if you don't have skills, I mentioned that point, that initially in our service, we just do whatever we are told to do. But over a period of time, we try to gravitate towards service that we are naturally oriented for. And then others do services that they are oriented. Some skills we can develop, some skills are more difficult to develop. Some skills maybe one day we are studying that. I said, why don't you do classes? Yeah, I'm definitely going to do classes in my next life. That's all. So much anxiety, so much grief. During that much time, I can do many other things. Is honestly that. No, it's good for everybody can try to share Krishna Bhakti. But particular ways of sharing Krishna Bhakti may not be for everyone. So some skills, if you're not able to develop, then let others do that service and give you something else. And only to cause ourselves inordinate anxiety. And the last one is inability to see Krishna. In general, for all of us, we may experience Krishna in particular ways. This is a big subject, but I'll just quickly explain this. Krishna is the center over here. Now, some people may experience Krishna primarily through the cultural path. That means when they come to a temple or come to a community and they see everyone wearing some traditional clothes, they see the puja happening, they see the meeting, they see the garland, and they participate in it. That will be feel they feel the presence. Some people experience Krishna through the philosophical path. That means when they come and they hear some class, and that makes they have some substance that makes sense. They have some questions that are not answered. Some people may come through the social path. That means they just want to be with good people. I want my children to be in good association. And it's a nice thing. So I want to be with this. I want to counter in someone. I want to counter in this. So they went to the social path. Now, some people may come more by the psychological pathway. By psychological pathway, I mean that some people are very troubled by certain things. Their mind will be very troubled. And then they come in the association of devotee, they chant something. They come to the temple in the street. They don't really notice when how the acting is going on or something. Feel some peace. Something mysterious, but I feel peace. So now these four are not exhaustive, these four are indicative. There could be various sub-ways also in between these. But broadly, we all experience Krishna in particular ways. So for example, if somebody experiences Krishna primarily through cultural pathway, that means they come to the temple, they have the altar, they see the ladies in the shape, they see the bell, they wear the bell being around, they take the lamb. Then for them, if anything seems to be culturally going wrong, then one day what will do my whole morning program got going to be. What happens? The devotee was doing Tulsi Aarti, instead of moving the diya 7 times, the devotee moving 8 times. Now, what happened was, he was disturbed. First of all, because the diya was not moved right the other time. And he was even more disturbed because others were not disturbed. So, for somebody who's come with a cultural pathway, any small thing off in the culture becomes unbearable. So, but for somebody else, somebody has come from the philosophy. And for them, whether the aarti is done this way or that way, that is the aarti will be around here the class. And that is the most important thing. And the class is simply getting one point and it's spoken again and again. But the person gets bored. So for each of us, we experience Krishna in particular ways. Say, for example, somebody comes from the social path. Then, for them, the puja is nice, the class is nice. But after that, how do people talk? So sometimes some places what happens is that people they're not so much concerned of how nice the aarti is. Okay, after the aarti is then how does the priest talk? So some places the priests are a little bit holier than the priests are very regimental or something like that. Yeah, I'm pure, you're impure. And they have to talk. So if they see devotees not behaving properly, that person. But there's nice happy, yeah, it's okay, but how can you behave like this? Some people who come in psychological pathway, for them peace is not important. And then now Harinam Sankirtan is wonderful. But then yeah, people are so loud. And some people are soft, soothing people. But some devotees, unless they are like big vampires and loud people, there's no people. What would have been done? So now different devotees are different people may experience Krishna. So what does this mean for us? For us, two things. That just because we experience Krishna in a particular way doesn't mean that everyone has to experience Krishna only in that way. We respect that others may be able to experience Krishna in different ways. And we don't judge others just because they are not that committed to the pathway by which we are experiencing. Somebody who is very cultural, who experiences Krishna very culturally, and then maybe fasting on the cultural part. But somebody else, okay, good to fast, but if I can't, no big deal. So I'll just take some food and I move on. So we need to respect that different people may experience Krishna. In that way, we can become more understanding and less judgmental. And the other thing is that we also try to experience Krishna in ways other than our main way. Because if we have only one way we are experiencing Krishna, sometimes there can be disruption. If my primary way of experiencing Krishna is the cult way, but suppose tomorrow, maybe my job takes me or my family operations take me to a place where there is no temple. There's no cultural environment where I can practice. Does that mean I give up my relationship with Krishna? No. We need to also connect with Krishna for other paths. Like for some devotees, those whose primary connection was to the philosophical pathway, the pandemic, when you could just hear classes on Zoom, and they nourished and they flourished in that. But for others, the primary connection was to the cultural or the social pathway. Okay, online classes are fine. But I feel something is missing. Not something, what other things are doing with it? So, we all need to expand the ways in which we are experiencing. So, cultural pathways are good. But we try to experience some of the philosophical concepts. We also try to experience the social pathway. One may remain our primary way. That is fine. If we try to experience it in other ways, and that way, we can have multiple connections. And we can also be more understanding of others who are also seeking to connect. And this way, we will be able to stabilize our service. Our services are important, service attitude is important. Ultimately, we want to connect with each other and connect with each other. When we do that, then all our services will flow much more naturally. And our services will attract more and more people to us. So I'll summarize what I spoke today. So we started by talking about, all of you contributed. The first part was why you feel inspired to serve Krishna and what causes some hesitation in serving Krishna. So we could say inspiration and hesitation. We discovered many things with respect to service to Krishna. And within that, I addressed three main points. First was respect to our nature. That initially, we all do whatever service we are told to do. But over a period of time, we try to observe ourselves and understand which is the service we are the guna and karma for, which we can do easily and effectively. The Prabhupada said, till now we've been operating in an emergency mode. But now we are able to do it. And that way, we will be able to experience Krishna. So, Now we need to standardize. So as a subordinate, we need to do whatever service we are told to do. As authority, see people not just as tools for doing service, but as also objects of service themselves. And that means we try to understand people. And that brought me to the third point I talked about was the relational aspect. That relationship is we need devotee, we need that guhyama khyati. We need at least one or two friends with whom we can open our heart without the fear of being judged. So like-minded association means the three things that we understand their mind, they understand our mind, and they help us to understand. And then the last part I discussed was about many other points I discussed, but this I discussed was about experiencing Krishna. That we all experience Krishna in different ways. I talk about 4 broad ways. So we can cherish the way we experience Krishna, but we also respect that different people may experience Krishna in different ways. And we try to expand the ways in which we experience Krishna. In that way, even if some storms come in our life, we will have multiple connections that will keep us sane and sane. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
As we're coming towards the end of it, you've done that question.
No.
Yeah. So now the next part, obviously, because 7 o'clock is like the program for the Czech Republic. So we will be moving shortly towards the hall. Where you can take the 7 o'clock. Then 7:50 we will start the next part of the program. But we might have like 5-10 minutes maximum. I mean, if that is okay, 1 or 2 questions.
It's 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock?
It's 6 o'clock now.
Okay, so you want to move other place.
Yes, we have 1 hour, so
It's little warm. Should I make it's little warm?
Relax some time.
Okay, sure. Any questions?
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you mentioned the association of the like-minded people and discussing, sharing your heart. So generally we share quite a few things, but maybe like according to my understanding, falls into few categories, which is our personal life. We share our personal life, and our experience when preaching outside. We share that as well, and our experience within the community. So when we discuss those things with the devotees, your personal life, yes, we can discuss and then have help. And when we discuss about outside situation, yes, we need help. When we discuss within, in the sense of dealings with the devotees, our experience, our bad experience, good experience with other devotees, does it come under an offense when we share our experience, their nature and things like that with a devotee or like-minded devotee?
Yeah. If we have some negative experiences with devotees, is discussing inside the moment we have negative experiences, is discussing that an offense? We are very offensive about talking about offenses. The is that in general, serious offenses are where we are envious of a devotee and want to put that devotee down. Now, in general, we don't want to displease any devotee. But as people who are functioning in the world, we all have our limits. We all have a limitation. We all may sometimes rub each other wrong way. So we do need some vent for that. And if you don't have a vent, and all that is going to happen is we just feel suppressed. I traveled across the world. I had gone to one place in Australia. There's one devotee who used to come for all the classes, sit right in the front and ask very intelligent questions and participate enthusiastically. Last time when I went, didn't come for a physical program. Then I messaged him, so I couldn't come with me. Is there anything wrong? So no, just can't come on. I can come and meet you. But okay. So then I asked him what happened. He said just before he came, there's some devotee who had come to give 3-part seminar on Vaishnav. I heard that seminar. They were so scared of committing of offenses to devotees. But I decided the safest way to avoid offenses is not associated with it. I told him that is like, suppose you hear some seminar on food poisoning. And you said, I stop eating food only. So we don't want to avoid offenses. We should not be living constantly fear of one coming of God and coming of God. Our focus should be on serving. And if something is obstructing us in our service, we need to address that. So rather than thinking that I'm criticizing this devotee, thinking that our feeling I want to serve Krishna. And somehow, maybe the way this devotee functions, or the way this devotee talks, and that is obstructing me. So how can I deal with the rest? So if we have the service attitude, then we won't be, even if we're talking about the faults of a particular devotee, our focus is not on bullying that devotee. Our focus is on protecting our service. And in that context, even if we talk something negative about a devotee, that's not an offense. Because our purpose is to protect our service. And that also, when we talk something negative also, so don't talk with the whole world about it. We talk with some senior devotees who can help us deal with the situation. So then in that context, it's not a problem. When Prabhupada brought some of his disciples to India for the first time, new devotees, he introduced them to his godbrothers. And some of his godbrothers, they started telling his disciples something like, this is not, you're not doing this right and you're doing that wrong and things like that. And Prabhupada became very concerned. And Prabhupada said, God also said very important. And one particular devotee tried to poach Prabhupada's followers. Prabhupada said that, he's an atheist snake. Very strong thing to say about a sannyasi guru in the world. But after some time, after a few years, maybe a decade later, he passed. And then a devotee asked Prabhupada, where did he go? Sometimes devotees get some joy after, but the bad person must have gone to heaven. And where did he go? So he went back to God and Prabhupada said, my Guru Maharaj is very powerful. And he served my Guru Maharaj so well. So Prabhupada, in terms of protecting his service was, he wanted to give his disciples a safe environment for serving Krishna. So for protecting his devotees, he spoke strongly about his God. But that did not blind Prabhupada to the fact that his God was also serving his Guru Maharaj. So Prabhupada's focus was not on criticizing his God. There was critical statements made, but the focus was protecting his. So he said that, if somebody is new in bhakti and they get confused, this Guru is saying this, this Guru is saying things, that if people get confused and this whole thing is very confusing, and forget it. They didn't want that to. So if we keep service as our focus and we have service attitude, then even if we discuss something critical about some devotee in an appropriate form, that's not focus. Okay.
Thank you so much for the wonderful prospect and bringing up the very important points. So I have a question related to the two school of thoughts here, Prabhu, which I generally find different speakers have their different thoughts on it, and which I sometimes find quite contradictory as well. So I found that some of the teachers or speakers, they generally emphasize on the point that any kind of a service it is, just take it as in prasadam, or take it as an opportunity to serve Krishna. But then there is also a set of teachers or speakers who emphasize on the point that whatever you feel like doing, pick up that so that you relish doing that service. So how to take up both these points and
well, I think every devotee has had experience of spiritual growth in different ways. Some devotees have experienced spiritual growth by doing services that were not following the or they thought were not following. that some devotees are quite versatile. They can do many things. They can do many things. Some devotees may not be that versatile. So if one particular devotee is versatile, and the devotee has done many different services, and they have done well in the different services, and that devotee may feel whatever service he get, he can advance to that. That's fine. That's speaking from their realization. Some other devotees may not be so versatile. For them, they can do one or two things, and they can do those things well. They don't do other things, it's a good change. Then that is their journey in Krishna consciousness. When they focus on particular services, that's how they are able to grow. So I would say that both Krishna consciousness is far bigger than any one devotee's conception of Krishna consciousness. So I have a particular conception of Krishna consciousness. You have a particular conception of Krishna. But Krishna consciousness is much bigger than all these conceptions of Krishna. So it's like, no, this is the umbrella under which I am getting shelter. This is my conception of Krishna consciousness. This is somebody else's conception of Krishna consciousness. This is somebody else's conception of Krishna consciousness. This is somebody else's conception. But actually, Krishna consciousness itself. Krishna consciousness itself is far bigger than our conception of Krishna consciousness. That's why when we hear different devotees say things which are different, or even seem to be opposite. And you just understand that these devotees have experienced Krishna in different ways. And they're speaking according to their experience. So we function in a way that is broadly compatible with the mood and the needs of our community. Yes, please.
So sometimes probably what happens is that people start comparing between temple also. So in this temple it used to happen like this, here it's happening like this, how are they doing like this, and then they don't stop relishing the service in that temple.
So are you saying comparing in terms of criticizing, or
Yes. They are not able to relish that service. It's why they don't get any nourishment when they are doing their service in this, when they change the temple or something. It's like somebody devotee is going to some other city, so they are not liking the service there. But they start comparing, oh, it used to happen like this, here it's happening like this.
yeah, that's true. It is. Srila Prabhupada, you could say he wanted each temple to be significantly independent. Although we are a part of a broad movement, it is like ISKCON. Prabhupada wanted to be like a set of, like a joint family with many nuclear families within that. So each temple is like a nuclear family. But we are all a part of a big joint family. So now the reason for this is that Prabhupada didn't appreciate too much centralization. He said that devotee should take individual responsibilities. Every temple should have its own funds, every temple should create its own facilities. And you inspire the people in that local community to become devotees. Not that you depend on somebody else to come and become a leader over here or do this or do that. Yeah, of course, traffic preachers will come, some other devotees will keep coming. But he wanted his center to grow locally. And that's how he kept it like that. So it is true that different temples may have different moods, different emphasis, different environments. So it is possible also that if we have been habituated to a particular mood in a particular temple, we go to some other temple and it becomes difficult. Well, that's just one of the challenges of living in the material world with all its limitations. I think we can do two things there. Within that broad temple mood, we try to find something which is, if not more compatible with us, it is the least incompatible with us. And try to connect with that. And while doing that, the other aspects, see that just as an opportunity to learn more about how different people experience. We may not be able to experience Krishna in this way, but sometimes it is nice to okay, that Krishna is so large that Krishna can be experienced in different ways. In the 10th chapter, in 10.8, Krishna talks about those who are Buddha, those who are enlightened. Buddha is related to Buddha, enlightened. Who are the enlightened people? Those who know me and are devoted to me. Now, in the next verse, 10.9, Krishna says that bodhayanta parasparam grahayanta shamam nityam ushinti jalam. He says they delight in enlightening each other. Enlightening them. Now, this is the question. If they are already enlightened, then how can they enlighten each other? They're already enlightened. The point is that actually Krishna is unlimited. And at one level, enlightenment means to know that Krishna is the ultimate object of love. So if this is Krishna, and say I'm here. So to know that Krishna is the ultimate object of my love, this is enlightenment. And there's another devotee, that also devotee also understands that Krishna is the ultimate object of love. At the same time, I am loving Krishna and I am experiencing Krishna in particular. And some other devotees experiencing loving Krishna and experiencing Krishna in another way. So this is person who is enlightened, this person is one, person enlightened two. But still both of them can enlighten each other. So enlightenment for us is not just a destination, it's also a journey that goes on eternally. So when we find a mode that is incompatible, we can try to see that this is a possible to experience Krishna. How are all these devotees experiencing Krishna? And it's quite illuminating if you look at it from that perspective. And of course, nowadays social media and online possibilities available. Even if you go geographically to one place, you can still stay connected with the community where we are feel more comfortable. That opportunity is also there for us. That's why at our stage, the operational principle is yena kena prakarena mana Krishna nivesh. Somehow or the other. So somehow or the other means it works the local temple community, fine. It doesn't. If you have some online community where we can connect to, that's fine. Somehow or the other, we continue in our practice. Stay connected. Last question. So,
sometimes when dealing with the devotees as well, sometimes the impressions last long, whether it's a first impression or a constant of similar impressions. And based on that, in the sense that, for example, we have some kind of experience, and that impression goes into our mind. And then, we sometimes tend, it's especially me, tend to see the devotee in that own thing, because that's the first impression. There's actually a long-lasting impression. Or over the time, some other impression has come, yes, okay, this is about, over the time I've experienced the same kind of nature. And then that actually goes into my head and I deal with this nature. I think that's particular brand or label them, okay, that's how it is. So I need to deal with them like that, or just avoid or things like that. How do I deal with that particular situation?
okay.
Maybe my impression is wrong.
Yeah, so based on our interaction with some devotees, we have particular impression about it. And then those impressions become like labels on that. And we always think about the devotee from that particular verse. In the Rig Veda, there is a verse, which is actually a prayer, which says, "Oh Lord, please let my first thought about everyone that I meet be positive." One Kartik month, I decided to make that as the vrata. So the first thought, I was shocked at how difficult it was. We somewhere immediately, our mind seems to have like a 24-hour running commentary going on. Commentary with this person. So it is a matter of our imagination. But we can do over that experience. I found two things. See, this is the person, and say, I am here. Now, based on my interactions, I had got a particular perception of this. I can't deny my perception. And my perception is that from the impression, I see that person. If I want to meet someone, and that person comes 1 hour late. That is once, it happens twice, that is times. There's not a response. It's understandable. We have our perception. But at the same time, two things. We avoid presuming that this is a permanent label. That person will be unpunctual now. But that doesn't mean that's how they will always be. Nor is it is a complete label. Some devotees may not be punctual, but that doesn't mean they're bad devotees. Because he is serious in other things. So see, Prabhupada sometimes seems to apply wrong labels, fools, things like that. But Prabhupada was very compassionate. There's one lecture of Prabhupada that he says, a pure devotee prays to Krishna. Now all these fools and rascals are suffering in this material world. Please give me the words that can help them connect it. Please, they're all your children. Please give me the words that will connect them. So Prabhupada is using the word fools and rascals, but he's not seeing that as the definition of the word. He's seeing that they are fools and rascals, but below that, each one of them is a part of each one of them is a child of Krishna. And he wants to connect them with Krishna. So labels in one sense are unavoidable. The word label has a negative connotation. But if you want to use the more positive, then we are evaluation. If we are going to do some service, then we have to evaluate whether this devotee can do this service or not. If we don't evaluate, then we will not be able to delegate properly. Some devotee may not be a good singer, and if we tell them to do kirtan, that kirtan will be a kirtan from which yes, that one and never. But come for that kirtan, they go away and never come. We don't want that. So we need to evaluate. Evaluation is unavoidable. After evaluation, we will have some mental mark about evaluation. But the point is, we don't see that as permanent. We don't see that as complete. Yes, this devotee may not be a good singer, but that doesn't mean that he's a bad human being or a bad devotee. We have some of the good qualities. So if we keep this in mind, then our labels they may be functionally necessary or functionally unavoidable. But there is more to every human being than the label. We keep that in mind, then we won't become disrespectful or offensive or we won't value the devotee. And if we want to go beyond that label, so I have a particular label for the devotee, I have a particular evaluation. Then what we do is we talk with other devotees. I have a particular impression with the particular devotee, and therefore I think it's a responsibility. But then you will find some other devotees like that devotee so much. What do you like so much about it? And they tell this, oh, I never knew about this. Never knew about it. And then that means what happens is we get a broader perception. So I have a definition of narrow-minded and broad-minded. Narrow-minded means what? So this is my mind, and this is the reality. So a narrow-minded person is one who thinks that the reality is narrower than my mind. That means the reality completely fits in my mind. Whatever I think, my opinion is fine. So narrow-minded means reality is narrower than the mind. But in my opinion is complete. My opinion is full. Rather than it is a broad-minded. What that means is that this is my mind's perception, but reality is broader than my mind. Yes, I have a particular mind and I can't get rid of my mind. I have particular perception, particular impression, particular conceptions. But it is not complete. Reality is broader than my mind's conception. I just have that much, that much understanding. My perceptions may be real, but they are not complete. So then we can avoid being judgmental about this. So thank you very much for your thoughtful questions and participation both in the beginning and the end. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Preman. Books.
Yeah, yes.
You get the
So,
books.
I request you all to come to the main hall. We'll be displaying the books over there. So you can easily see
You have a copy of the books here?
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
just explain.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So if anyone of you is not going to join the 7 to 9 session, then please have a look at the books, and you can take it from here.
So, Srila Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad Gita as it is. He told us that studying scripture from different perspectives, scrutinizing it from different perspectives. We also said right to realizations. So that's what I have done. These are 4 presentations of Bhagavad Gita from 4 different perspectives. So much of what I spoke is from this book. This is the Gita from an application perspective. There are 365 articles, each article of 1 page, so 3 to 3 minutes. Is based on 1 verse from the Gita. And there are 3 reflection questions can help you to introspect. And each has a 1 sentence summary title, which can be something which you can remember and contemplate all the reason. There are 3 sections in this: nourish yourself, nourish your relationships, and nourish your emotion. So most of what I spoke today was from nourish your relationship direction. How to be less judgmental in our dealing with others, how to be more sensitive in our speech, and how to deal with adversities that come nourish your self-relation. So this is the whole Gita from an applicational perspective. If you would like to study the Gita a little bit more in its direct understanding, these 2 books are part of the Gita study series. This is the Gita from a rational perspective. This follows the mood of Baldev Vidyabhushan's commentary, and it's the questions that might come in a rational mind on reading the Gita. The Gita says we should detach from the fruits of our work. And what will motivate us to work at all? The Gita says that the more than the doers of everything. Then why are we held responsible for our actions? If we are meant to be equal to everyone, then why is Krishna Arjuna fighting against him? Why is Krishna telling Arjuna to fight?
So if God controls everything, then do we really have free will?
The questions like this are answered in this book. There are 100 questions, along with answers, and many of the answers are already diagrammed, like simple finger sketches I was doing. Easily to illustrate the concepts. This is the Gita from a relational perspective, where we discuss how the Gita is not just a book of philosophy, but it is an expression of Krishna's love for Arjuna, expressed through the medium of love and wisdom, and it is by extension divinity's love for humanity. So each one, if you would like to nurture your personal relationship with Krishna by studying Gita, this book can be made. This follows the mood of and this is from a relational perspective, this is from an inspirational perspective. So this is 365 is the calendar 365 quotes inspired by the Gita. And each of these is based on one verse from the Gita. And the idea is that some people may not really want to read spirituality or philosophy, but everybody is attracted by wisdom. So this is a very accessible way to share spirituality with your acquaintances who are not interested in spirituality. So if you give a book, they will not read, but if you just give a set of quotes, it's something you don't really keep it. You keep it in your office, workplace, or home reception, and they read a quote and if interest them, then what happens is you can start a spiritual discussion. So I talk about fanaticism. The fanatics don't hold opinions; their opinions hold them. So possessing wealth is not a problem. Being possessed by wealth is. What we are making money is important, but what we are making with money is even more important. So each of these is based on one verse from the Gita. If you Google these quotes, you take it to my website gitadaily.com, where there is a explanation of each verse or each quote. But even without that, the quote is self-explanatory. So all 4 are available as a set at a significant discount. And if you want 1 or 2 books, also 2 books, any books, set also is available. And I'm available at a discount also. And if you would like, I can also sign the books. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So now, since the prasadam is being served over there, we will be taking the books also in the main hall. Please do take, and towards the end of the main program, please do make some time so you can come and talk to Prabhu and then do and sign it. But yeah, please don't go without the food. Make sure. This is like the treasure house, you know. Whatever the talk was given today, so all these are given in elaborating it, and a proper explanation is given for it. If you make an appropriate. They will be exiting from this side and will be coming from the main road towards the main hall. And so the certain things are there, started serving.
I'm very Should I go there? Yeah.
Can we take for the purpose?